demanded this fight for a long time, ever since both you and Oscar were in the featherweight division. Now that this is finally taking place at 130 pounds, and now that it's fight week, how excited are you to finally get in the ring with Oscar Valdez?
I'm ready. I'm in great shape. I'm feeling good. I'm just ready to fight. I feel like a lot of people don't understand how good I am, and I feel like April 30th is another chance to show them how great I am.
Thank you, Shakur. And a reminder to everybody, if you want to ask a question in the Zoom chat, please raise your hand. If you cannot figure out the raise hand button, you can send me a direct message in the chat, and we will get to as many questions as possible. We've got Shakur now, and then Keyshawn Davis, then Nico Ali, and then Oscar Valdez will be joining us a little later. So again, anybody wants to ask questions, raise hands or message me privately. Please do not live stream this call, but you can take clips from this call for your channels upon the conclusion from the Top Rank YouTube channel. So now let's go over to the questions, and Bob is on for the entire call as well. If anybody would like to ask questions of Bob Arum as well. So we will kick things off with Dan Rayfield. Dan, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Evan. Hey, Shakur, how are you today?
It's good, Dan.
Hey, everything is good. I know there was a lot of talk before this fight was finally signed, where you had said on a number of occasions that you felt like Oscar Valdez did not want to fight you. Now that he's signed on the dotted line, he's changed his mind. Obviously, he's willing to fight you. Do you still think there's maybe some trepidation on his part of fighting you?
Yeah, I think it was more so his team. He's with Team Canelo now. I think they probably forced him into fighting me. I don't think he actually really wanted this fight. This is a fight that he tried to avoid for as long as he could. But as you see, he couldn't avoid it for right now.
Okay, and you looked really good when you knocked out Herring and won this WBO belt that you're going to defend. How much better do you think that you can be against Valdez? Because that was such a dominating performance against Jamel. And however much better you think you can be, also, what does it mean then to you to be able to possibly unify the titles?
I'm a dominant fighter. I feel like all my fights is one-sided, so I'm planning on going there April 30th and doing the same exact thing. So I don't know how much better I can get, but I know that I'm not even in my prime yet, so I can get a lot better than what I am already.
All right, Evan, I have one question for Bob. Bob, is there?
Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Bob. I've heard some people compare this matchup to a matchup that you promoted, and you had both fighters back then, between Floyd Mayweather and Diego Corrales, the consummate boxer in Floyd and the big aggressive puncher in Corrales. Same weight class, the same arena. Have you thought about that? Do you see there to be any comparisons to that fight that became a landmark, benchmark fight for Floyd?
Well, that was a great fight. I remember Mayweather Corrales. But again, to make comparisons with different eras is really beside the point. I just think this is going to be a great fight. And the thing I like about it is that each trainer for the fighter wanted this fight. Certainly Eddie Reynosa for Valdez, and Shakur's granddaddy and Coach K wanted the fight. So I'm looking forward to a great fight. To compare it to Mayweather and Corrales, I can see, what you're getting at, but I think it's too much of a reach.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, guys, and I look forward to seeing you later in the week.
Thank you, Dan. And in addition to this being for the Ring Magazine title, this is the first 130-pound unification match since 2005. So, especially in the 130-pound weight class, where we've seen a lot of great champions stop through, there's a lot of history on the line Saturday night as well. So again, we're going to go to the calls. Keith Eidick, please unmute yourself and go ahead when ready.
Hey, Shakur, I was just wondering if you could tell us how, you win this fight the way that you're expecting to win it. How important would it then be to you to go and fully unify in the 130-pound?
I can't hear you breaking up. You kind of broke up. I didn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I get you.
I said, if you win this fight the way that you're expecting to win it on Saturday night, how important would it be for you then to go and fully unify and become the full champion in the 130-pound division?
I think it's very important. I feel like I'm gonna try to do the undisputed a little bit different. Try to go get a result myself. So it's very important, but I got to get past Valdez first. I can't look ahead and think about what's happening next. I'm really focused on April 30th right now.
I fully respect that, Shakur. I'm just curious, though, do you anticipate it being difficult to make some of those fights because they're with other promoters and other networks and streaming services and all?
Nah, not at all. I think that after this fight, I should become a big star, and I just feel like it should be a lot easier to get these fighters in the ring. I'm gonna be having 2 belts. I think a lot of people want to fight for 2 belts, so I can see other people getting in the ring. But like I said, right now we focus on Valdez. I gotta get Valdez out the way, or we can't even have this conversation.
Understood. Shakur, I just have one more question for you. I know you've always wanted these fights. You've wanted this particular fight for 3 years or so. Do you think what Devin Haney did in terms of making some sacrifices to go make the fights that he wants, will inspire other fighters of your generation? Not you. I'm not relaying this to you, but other fighters who have been reluctant to take those risks. Do you think that what he did might make other fighters more apt to do that moving forward?
I'm not sure. I don't know if other fighters would do that, but it's all business. I'm not sure on his situation. I don't know what happened, how it went down, so I don't know like the terms of the contract or anything like that. But I wish him nothing but luck.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Keith. And again, use the raise hand button. If you can't find the raise hand button, you can message me in the chat. And again, I'll get to as many questions as possible. We don't have all day with all these fighters, so again, try to get to as many of you as possible when it comes to asking questions. So we got a lot of people on the line for Shakur. Mark Lelandwala, if I can find your unmute button. Okay, Mark, please unmute yourself and go right when ready.
Shakur, can this fight be the launching pad of Shakur Stevenson, the pay-per-view superstar?
Most definitely. I feel like this is a big fight. I'm taking a big risk fighting somebody 30-0, who's also a champion. And I feel like, depending on how I perform, I feel like the world going to love me. And I definitely can become a pay-per-view superstar, and I will become a pay-per-view superstar.
Shakur, you get the Floyd comparison often. Do you feel like you have more power than a younger Floyd did at this point, in his career?
I don't know. I don't know how strong he was. That's depending on who's looking at it, but I definitely got some power, and I'm definitely a great fighter who can get these guys out of here.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. Cole Whiston, Boxing World Weekly. Cole, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Thank you, Cole.
Hey, thanks, guys. Shakur, you've said in the entire lead up to this fight that Oscar probably hasn't fought somebody with your skill set, and that is probably true. But the same argument could be made for you having not fought somebody with his power/ferocity. What do you say to that?
I probably agree. Definitely probably never been in there with somebody as strong as him and with that type of will. Only person I can think of with the willpower, I would say, was Joette, but he didn't get a chance to even show his willpower because of my skill. So I can say the same thing. I agree with that. That's a statement that I can agree with, but it don't matter come April 30th. He can do whatever he wants. I'm coming there to do what I always do.
That's completely fair. You also tweeted almost immediately after the fight became official that you wanted the Taylor and Serrano card to kind of be staggered with yours so that they could both get the attention they deserve. I want to know, they're scheduled to walk right around an hour and 45 before you guys are. Are you going to be watching that fight while you're warming up?
Probably not. I like to kind of watch certain fights that I'm probably going to emulate, so I might even be watching Mel Whitaker at that time, or maybe like the Andre Ward fight or something like that. So I probably won't be watching, but I'll wish them nothing but the best. I hope the whole world tunes in and help them get their support.
Thank you very much, Cole. We go to Miguel Maravilla. Miguel, please unmute yourself and go in.
Hey, Shakur. First of all, man, this fight is obviously, biggest fight up to date for your career. You have the skill set. Everyone talks about his power. Do you feel that there will be an experience factor in this fight?
Who would the experience lead to?
In terms of professional experience, he was a champ when you were making your debut. It's pretty much what I'm referring to.
Nah, not at all. I feel like experience never could play a part with me. You gotta realize I've been boxing since I was 5 years old. That's probably 19 years in the game already. So at the end of the day, I'm a great fighter, and I got enough experience to be in this situation that I'm in already. So I'm not looking at it like he's the more experienced guy. He's a great fighter at the end of the day. I can't take nothing from him, but I think that I'm a better fighter.
Mike Rueda, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Mike.
Thank you. Shakur, so a couple questions real quick. I know you said that you're not trying to compare this fight to anything Floyd or anybody else did, but is there any other fights that you've watched maybe in the lead up to this during your training that you, as you said, you're going to emulate possibly Pernell Whitaker type fight, but up to now, not obviously fight night?
Yeah, I don't want to give out the recipe, but I will say I don't think there's nothing he really can do about it. But I like watching the Sweet Pea versus Chavez fight. Chavez is his favorite fighter, and Pernell Whitaker is one of mine. So I love watching that fight.
Okay, and then last question. You recently became a father. Your daughter was born. How much more motivation and just how special has it been for you just in that sense personally since you became a dad? Involved in boxing now.
It's definitely big motivation. Actually was motivated my last fight just off the fact that I had a baby on the weight, and when she came here, I wanted to be the 2-time world champion. So now that she's here, I want to unify the division, and I want to keep trying to make her proud. Because when she get older, she gonna realize how big her dad was. So I'm definitely motivated, and I'm trying to put on the show for her.
Thank you very much, Mike. And we have a couple more questions with Shakur, but it's something I wanted to address with Bob. A quick question for Bob. So, Bob, there's a couple questions ago, somebody referenced, that Oscar was a world champion when Shakur was turning pro. So it's kind of fascinating to now see them in a fight of this magnitude. When did you see this fight as a legitimate possibility? At what point? How long have you kind of seen this matchup percolating for?
When we signed Oscar, we knew he would be a premier fighter in the sport. And when we signed Shakur, we knew that he would be a superstar in the sport. And it was always in the back of our mind that if the weights coincided, they would fight each other. They're two great young men, two great fighters, and it's what the public wants to see. And I'm so happy that thanks to ESPN, we can do this fight without asking the public to pay additional money on pay-per-view. So this is wonderful for the sport.
Thank you, Bob. We've got a couple more questions for Shakur, and then we have Keyshawn Davis is waiting patiently. So after a couple more questions, we will get to Keyshawn Davis. All right, let's see who else we have in the queue here. Rob Harding. Rob, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, Shakur.
Thank you, Rob.
You got me. Hi, Shakur. Great to speak to you and everyone on the call. I'm calling from London, England. The fight's being shown live in England, in the UK, in the early hours of Sunday morning. What can we expect from both fighters? Shakur, if he's still on the line, in particular. What can we expect in terms of stylistically and what's the master plan as well, sort of moving forward, really? We're really excited with the prospect of actually watching you fight this weekend. So what can you tell your fans over here in the UK?
You can expect a regular Shakur Stevenson fight on me using my skills and my mind to get me ahead on the scorecard. But you got to understand that Oscar is a fighter with a lot of willpower, so I have to be prepared for him trying to drown me and get me into a brawl or a big brawl. But I don't plan on doing none of that. I plan on going in there and doing what I've been doing in the gym, making everything easy work. And that's my game plan, so you can expect that.
All right, thank you very much. And I've been informed that James Bell's parked. So James, now that you're parked, go ahead and ask your question before you let Shakur go.
All right, just making sure that you got me here. Shakur, seeing that this is a fight between two of the top guys here in the super featherweight division, if you get through this particular fight, what does that mean for you there? And to kind of like say that you're one of the most skilled fighters in the sport of boxing?
Yeah, most definitely. If I get through this fight, I've been looking my last few fights, and every fight that I done had in my professional career, I see myself on the pound for pound list. When I say that off of just from me going back to back fighting champion with no problem. It's not like I'm fighting somebody who got a bunch of belts already. I'm fighting champion after champion, and then you gotta understand Valdez has been champion since I was turning pro. Like Valdez has been defending his belt since I was having my pro debut. So just to fight somebody that's been defending belts and being undefeated, right after going against Jamel Herring, I think I deserve to be on the pound for pound list. Even if I'm not the top of the list pound for pound, I know for a fact that I deserve to be on the pound for pound list. I'm not just fighting cherry picking fighters. I'm actually fighting fighters. So.
All right, and we go one last question for Shakur, since he asked politely. Fred, let's see if you're on the line. Yeah, Fred from the UK. Not old enough to buy a beer here in the US, but a good boxing reporter. So Fred, please go ahead and ask your question. Fred?
Sure, how you doing, mate?
What's up, man?
Just one question. I saw you sparring Terence Crawford, obviously in the gym, on your Twitter a few weeks ago. How much did you learn from sparring a fighter like Terence Crawford? How much did you gain from that?
I gained a lot. Just to know like I can hold my own with one of the best fighters on the planet is a blessing, and it definitely boosts my confidence to a higher level because I know that fighters like Oscar Valdez and people that's my weight, my size, they're not on the level of a Terence Crawford. So I definitely gained a lot of confidence from it, and I feel good about it.